Have you ever wondered why the memories that hurt you most are also the ones that keep returning uninvited, especially during the quietest moments of your life? Why a single sentence from years ago can still sting like it was spoken yesterday? Why someone's betrayal, someone's absence, someone's mistake still sits in your chest like an old wound that refuses to close. And here's the part we rarely dare to admit. Sometimes it's not the memory that hurts. It's the version of ourselves we became because of it. That is why forgiveness is terrifying. Because to forgive is not to say it's okay. It is to confront what we've been avoiding for years. It is to meet the parts of ourselves that were left behind in the dark. It is to acknowledge that despite everything that has tried to break us, we are still here, still breathing, still healing, still becoming more than what hurt us. Welcome to Tomorrow Better Version. And today, we are going to walk into the quiet, hidden rooms of your past, the ones you keep locked, the ones you're afraid to open, not to suffer again, but to finally set yourself free. Before we continue, remember to subscribe to the channel so we can keep creating meaningful journeys like this for you. The truth is simple, but rarely spoken. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is not a gift you hand to the one who hurt you. It is the key you give yourself so you can walk out of the prison you didn't realize you built. Every resentment you carry becomes another bar on the window, another lock on the door, another chain around your chest. You may not see it, but you feel it. Every time you overreact, every time you shut down, every time you trust a little less. Forgiveness is inner healing because it releases you from the story you no longer want to live in. Yet many people resist forgiveness because they confuse it with acceptance or reconciliation. But forgiveness does not mean I approve of what happened. It didn't hurt me. I should pretend it was okay. Forgiveness simply means I refuse to let this pain define who I am becoming. There is a moment, quiet, subtle, when you realize the past is not hurting you anymore. You are hurting you by refusing to let it go. And that realization is both painful and liberating. Painful because you finally see how long you've been holding the wound. Liberating because now that you see it, you can finally put it down. Forgiveness begins with honesty. It begins with acknowledging that beneath your adult body is a younger self who still remembers everything. The abandonment, the criticism, the rejection, the humiliation, the moment someone made you feel small, the moment someone told you that you weren't enough. That version of you didn't disappear. They simply buried themselves deeper inside, hoping one day you would come back for them. So take a breath. Close your eyes, if only in your mind, and imagine the child you once were standing in front of you. Look closely. See the fear, the longing, the confusion, the innocence. And then ask yourself, has this child waited long enough for you to return? For you to pick them up? For you to tell them the words they have needed for years? You did not deserve what happened. It wasn't your fault. And you are safe now because I am here. This is forgiveness at its root. Not a conversation with the past, but a reunion with yourself. And when you can reach this inner child with tenderness, something begins to shift. The heaviness loosens, the shame dissolves, the bitterness melts. You realize that what you've been aching for all these years was not revenge, not an apology, not closure from the outside. What you needed was your own compassion. But forgiveness isn't just about childhood wounds. It is about forgiving yourself in the present too. Forgiving yourself for staying too long, for holding on too tightly, for not knowing better at the time, for falling back into old habits, for loving people who couldn't love you back, for abandoning yourself while trying to be everything for everyone else. Self-forgiveness is the hardest because we believe, deep down, that we should have been stronger. But strength is not never breaking. Strength is breaking and choosing to rebuild anyway. When you forgive yourself, the world becomes lighter. You stop fighting your past. You stop replaying old scenes. You stop expecting the future to be another version of yesterday. You begin to trust again, not blindly, but wisely. Not desperately, but with grounded self-respect. Forgiveness shifts your inner narrative. It tells your mind, the danger is over. The story has changed. One of the most powerful truths Louise teaches is this. Most people cling to resentment because it gives them a sense of identity. Without the hurt, who would they be? Without the anger, how would they protect themselves? Letting go feels like losing control, when in reality, letting go is how you reclaim control. Forgiveness is a decision. Healing is a process. And both begin the moment you stop resisting the truth that the past is already over. The pain is real, but the suffering is optional. You don't heal by changing the past. You heal by changing the meaning you attach to it. You heal by choosing to release the version of yourself that pain created. You heal by allowing yourself to step out of the old skin, the old wounds, the old echoes. And when you finally forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace, your life shifts quietly, gently, beautifully. You breathe easier. You speak softer. You stand taller. You see the world not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of possibility. Forgiveness is not the end of your healing journey. It is the doorway. And once you walk through it, everything that once felt impossible becomes available to you again. Before we move on, I want to ask you a simple question. I know someone I need to forgive, but I've been afraid to face it. B, I think the person I most need to forgive is myself. Comment A or B below, and let us know where your healing begins. There is a moment, often unexpected, when you realize that the way you speak to yourself has shaped your entire life more than any external event ever has. The quiet sentences you whisper under your breath, the thoughts you repeat in the privacy of your mind, the beliefs you accepted long before you could question them, all of these have become the blueprint of your reality. Most people live their whole lives unaware that their inner dialogue is the true architect of their happiness, their health, their relationships, and their sense of worth. And yet, deep down, you can feel it. The world around you is only reflecting the world within you. Self-love is not a luxury. It is not a trend. It is not vanity or indulgence. Self-love is survival. It is the foundation of every change you wish to make. Without it, every effort becomes a struggle. With it, transformation becomes natural, gentle, and lasting. But here's the truth that many people avoid. Loving yourself is often the hardest relationship you will ever build. Because unlike others, you know your mistakes, your insecurities, your darkest moments. You see the parts of yourself no one else sees. And that intimacy can become harshness if you have never been taught otherwise. The journey of self-acceptance begins by recognizing the voice in your mind as a learned voice, not your true one. Every criticism, every limitation, every judgment you aim at yourself was planted there somewhere in the past, by a parent, a teacher, a culture, a belief system, a moment of pain. You were not born thinking you were unworthy. That is why reprogramming the mind is possible, because the mind learned to reject you, and it can learn to embrace you again. Louise teaches something revolutionary in its simplicity. Every thought is an affirmation. Most people affirm their unhappiness without realizing it. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I can't change. That's just who I am. These are affirmations, negative ones, and they build the life you don't want. The mind does not judge. The mind obeys. It takes whatever you repeat and creates patterns that match it, emotionally and physically. This is why self-love is not a feeling, it's a practice, a mental discipline, a retraining of the inner voice. Imagine for a moment that you are raising a small child. Would you scream at that child for being imperfect? Would you point out every flaw? Would you call them stupid, unlovable, weak, or a failure? Of course not. You would nurture them, encourage them, guide them. And still, when it comes to ourselves, we do the opposite. We punish where we should support. We doubt where we should trust. We abandon ourselves in moments when we need our own love the most. Self-love begins the moment you decide to stop being the enemy within your own mind. Reprogramming your thoughts does not require force. It requires repetition, consistency, and gentleness. Affirmations work not because they magically change reality, but because they change the thinker. When you repeatedly say, I approve of myself, or I am worthy of love, your subconscious slowly, steadily begins to release the old programming. The mind is like soil. Whatever seed you plant and nourish will grow. Most people plant seeds of fear and water them with self-criticism. But when you begin planting seeds of love, everything changes. At first, the words may feel false. You might even feel resistance rising inside you, discomfort, embarrassment, disbelief. But resistance is proof that you're touching the right place. the unresolved beliefs. The subconscious is simply showing you what needs healing. If you keep going, keep repeating, keep choosing kind thoughts over old automatic ones, the resistance softens. And one day, without realizing when it happened, the affirmation becomes truth. You don't force it, you grow into it. Self-acceptance is the process of honoring every part of you, even the ones you've judged, rejected, or hidden. The wounded parts, the imperfect parts, the vulnerable parts. Acceptance does not mean approving harmful behavior. It means no longer fighting your own humanity. When you stop resisting yourself, your life stops being a battlefield. You become your own source of safety, and from that safety, real change becomes possible. One of the most transformative exercises is looking into the mirror, really looking and saying, "I love you." Not in a superficial way, but with the intention of meeting yourself honestly. At first, most people cannot hold their own gaze. The eyes reveal too much: loneliness, shame, old heartbreaks, unspoken fears. But if you stay, if you breathe, if you keep showing up, something beautiful begins to happen. The walls soften, the child within you emerges. You see past the judgment and into the truth. You have always deserved your own love. Reprogramming your mind does not change your past, but it changes the identity you created from the past. It frees you from beliefs you never chose. It makes room for joy, peace, and possibility. As you build new thoughts, you build a new self. And as you build a new self, you build a new life. No matter who you were yesterday, you have the power to choose who you become today. And that choice starts with the words you speak inside your own mind. Because when you finally love yourself, not in theory, but in practice, you unlock a life that has been waiting for you all along. Once you begin releasing the past and softening your inner voice, you arrive at the quiet but powerful stage of transformation, learning to build something new. Many people believe healing ends once forgiveness is found or when self-love begins. But Louise teaches that this is only the halfway point. The mind, like the body, responds to training. Just as muscles need repetition to strengthen, your thoughts need repetition to become stable, peaceful, and aligned with who you want to become. Growth is not a coincidence. It is practice, intention, and consistent mental nourishment. The truth is simple. You cannot create a new life with the same thoughts that built the old one. Building the new requires daily commitment, not perfection, but presence. You don't have to transform your entire life overnight. You only need to be willing to show up for yourself a little each day with gentleness and honesty. Small mental habits, done consistently, begin to shape a new inner climate, one in which self-respect replaces self-doubt and clarity replaces fear. Daily practice begins with one mindset: I am willing. Being willing is the doorway to transformation. You don't have to know how to change. You don't need to have faith on day one. You only need to be willing to take the next step. When you say, "I am willing to think differently," you interrupt years of old conditioning. You open a small but powerful crack through which light enters. Meditation becomes the ground on which this new inner garden can grow. Many people misunderstand meditation and assume it must be silent, perfect, or spiritual. But meditation, in its essence, is simply this: a moment where you stop running, a moment where your mind is allowed to breathe, a moment where you listen instead of react. Whether you sit on a cushion, breathe deeply for 5 minutes, or pause in the car before starting your day, any act that brings you into the present moment strengthens your mind's ability to choose peace. In this stillness, something almost magical happens. You begin to notice your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You watch the worry come and go. You feel the tension rise and fall. You see the mental stories that once felt true dissolve when you breathe consciously. Meditation is not about escaping life. It is about training your mind to meet life without panic, without judgment, without drowning in the old patterns that once defined you. Daily practice also means learning to guide your mind the same way you would guide a child, firmly but gently. You do not yell at a child who is learning to walk. You encourage them, support them, celebrate their small steps. This is exactly how you must treat your mind. You will stumble, you will forget, you will fall back into old patterns. That does not mean failure. It means you are human. The moment you notice yourself slipping, you simply return. You redirect your thoughts with kindness, not criticism. This is why affirmations are powerful. They are not magic spells. They are mental repetitions that gradually reshape your beliefs. When you repeat an affirmation, you introduce a new thought into your subconscious. And with enough repetition, the subconscious rearranges itself around this new belief. You begin acting differently without forcing yourself. You respond differently without trying. You attract differently without searching. Change becomes natural, not exhausting. But affirmations only work when they are practiced consistently. You cannot plant a seed once and expect a forest. You water it daily with repetition, emotion, and willingness. It is not the effort that transforms you, it is the consistency. A few minutes of daily practice shapes more of your life than 1 hour of effort once a month. Building the new also means creating rituals, small, steady actions that anchor you into your new identity. Some people begin their mornings with gratitude, listing what they appreciate before getting out of bed. Others sit in silence, noticing their breath. Some write affirmations 10 or 20 times until the words feel less foreign. Others place their hands on their heart, reminding themselves they are safe, supported, and worthy. These rituals are not chores, they are nourishment. They feed the mind the same way breakfast feeds the body. Mental discipline does not mean force or pressure. It means choosing what thoughts you allow to grow. It means catching yourself when old patterns whisper, "You can't do this," and gently replacing them with, "I am learning." Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. Devotion to yourself, devotion to your healing, devotion to the future you are consciously creating. As you practice daily, your inner world begins to shift. You start noticing peace in places where anxiety once lived. You feel calm in situations that used to terrify you. You begin responding from clarity instead of emotional wounds. Without realizing it, you are becoming someone new, someone grounded, someone kind, someone capable of walking through life with inner strength rather than fear. And slowly the world around you begins to mirror this new inner landscape. Relationships soften, opportunities appear, old habits dissolve. You handle challenges with grace instead of panic. Life becomes less chaotic, not because everything is perfect, but because you have built a mind that no longer collapses at the first sign of struggle. Building the new is not about becoming a different person. It is about becoming the person you were always meant to be, before the pain, before the fear, before the limiting beliefs. It is about returning home to yourself with patience, compassion, and daily devotion, because the life you want cannot be forced, it must be grown. One thought, one breath, one loving choice at a time. There is a moment in every person's journey when they realize that prosperity has never been about money. It has never been about the salary, the savings account, the house, or the number of opportunities available. Prosperity begins long before any of these things appear. It begins in the mind. And until the mind shifts, nothing on the outside can permanently change. Many people are taught to fear money, to resent it, to chase it desperately, or to feel unworthy of it. They absorb childhood beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are selfish, I'll never make enough, or I'm just not lucky like others. Without realizing it, they grow up carrying these invisible chains into adulthood. And even when life brings opportunities, these old beliefs quietly push them away. Prosperity consciousness is not about attracting wealth magically. It is about removing the inner walls that block the natural flow of abundance. In truth, the universe is overflowing with opportunities, resources, ideas, connections, and pathways. But you can only receive what your mind is prepared to hold. If your inner container is small, fearful, or filled with beliefs of lack, no amount of external change will feel like enough. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, a limitless abundance of possibilities. What you receive depends on the container you bring. Many people come with a teaspoon. Others bring a bucket. A few carry a pipeline. The ocean does not judge. It does not decide who is worthy. It simply offers. Your consciousness decides how much you can receive. The first step in building prosperity consciousness is recognizing that lack is a belief, not a reality. Even in the most difficult circumstances, people have risen, rebuilt, created wealth, and transformed their lives, not because their situation changed first, but because their mindset did. When you change how you think about abundance, you begin to see possibilities where others see obstacles. You make decisions from confidence instead of fear. you stop shrinking yourself and start trusting that you deserve to receive. This is why gratitude is the foundation of prosperity. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is available. When you bless your bills instead of resenting them, you send a message to your subconscious, I am capable of giving and receiving. When you appreciate the small amount of money you have, you expand your capacity to welcome more. Gratitude trains your mind to see the flow of life instead of the limitations. Prosperity consciousness also requires healing your sense of deserving. Many people reject abundance unconsciously because they secretly believe they are not worthy of success. Maybe a parent criticized you. Maybe you internalized shame or failure. Maybe you grew up feeling invisible or unimportant. These beliefs can quietly sabotage your ability to prosper. You might attract opportunities but push them away. You might earn money but unconsciously spend it all. You might start new projects but never allow yourself to succeed. To shift this, you must speak to yourself differently. Affirmations like, I deserve abundance, I am worthy of being supported, and I am open to receiving good things, gradually dissolve the old stories. When repeated consistently, they reprogram the subconscious mind to accept prosperity as natural, not threatening. Another aspect of prosperity consciousness is releasing resentment toward money or those who have it. When you judge wealth, you block yourself from it. When you resent someone's success, you are telling your subconscious, that kind of life is not for me. Instead, bless the prosperity you see around you. Celebrate it. The moment you stop treating wealth as something suspicious, your mind becomes free to create your own. Equally important is opening yourself to new channels of supply. Many people limit abundance because they believe it can only come from one place, a job, a salary, a specific skill. But abundance can flow through countless sources. New relationships, new ideas, unexpected opportunities, creative inspiration, collaborations, or even complete life changes. When you affirm, I am open to receiving from expected and unexpected sources, you allow the universe to work in ways your mind cannot predict. Prosperity consciousness also requires letting go of scarcity habits. People who believe in lack, hoard, cling, fear spending, refuse pleasure, or shut down generosity. But those who trust abundance live with openness. They circulate their energy. They share when they can. They enjoy what they have. They don't treat life as a battlefield, but as a flow. The more freely you allow abundance to move through you, the more it returns. Finally, prosperity consciousness means trusting that you are supported, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and creatively. When you trust life, you stop making decisions out of fear. You stop chasing approval. You stop settling for less. You begin to act from possibility rather than survival. And that shift alone attracts opportunities you once couldn't imagine. When you rewrite your inner beliefs, you rewrite your outer life. You stop living from the wounds of the past and begin living from the potential of the future. Prosperity becomes a reflection of who you are becoming, not what you lack. And the more you grow in self-love, gratitude, and trust, the wider the doors of abundance open. Because prosperity is not luck, it is alignment. It is the inner knowing that you deserve to live a life that supports you, nourishes you, and expands you. And that life begins the moment you decide to believe in it. There is a quiet truth that many people never learn until life forces them to slow down. The body never lies. While the mind can hide, suppress, ignore, or pretend, the body always reveals what the heart is carrying. Every ache, every tension, every sudden illness or long-term condition is not a punishment. It is communication, a message, a gentle or sometimes urgent reminder that something inside us needs attention, softness, forgiveness, or release. Louise Hay spent years teaching this truth, not because she studied it in a book, but because she lived it. She experienced trauma, loss, self-hatred, and a harsh inner critic that followed her into adulthood. When she was later diagnosed with cancer, she realized something extraordinary. Healing could not begin with medicine alone. It needed to begin with the mind. Her physical condition was not simply a medical issue. It was the final expression of years of emotional wounds she never tended to. And that is where her transformation started. She began to see her body as a mirror. Every pain reflected an inner fear. Every tightness reflected resentment. Every illness reflected a belief she had carried for too long. Instead of fighting her body, she listened to it. Instead of blaming herself, she softened toward herself. Instead of pushing through life, she learned to pause. This shift in perspective became the foundation of her healing, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. The body is always responding to the way we think and feel. When we hold anger, our muscles contract. When we live in fear, our breath becomes shallow. When we suppress sadness, our chest feels heavy. When we carry guilt, our posture bends. And when we feel unworthy, the body follows with exhaustion, tension, or illness. Nothing happens in a vacuum. The mind sets the tone and the body echoes it. This is why healing the body must begin with healing the inner world. Louise's journey shows us that the body is not the enemy. It is the closest companion we have, loyal, forgiving, and constantly trying to protect us. Even symptoms that seem unpleasant are often signs that the body is working hard to keep us alive and stable. When we shift from resentment to gratitude, something powerful happens. The body trusts us again. It relaxes, it softens, it opens to healing. The mind-body connection invites us to examine the emotional root of every physical pattern. Chronic headaches often reflect pressure and self-criticism. Stomach issues reflect fear or difficulty digesting life. Back pain often signals feeling unsupported. Skin problems reveal hidden shame or feeling unsafe to be seen. And weight challenges often come from a deep desire for protection. These are not rigid rules. They are invitations to look deeper at what your body is trying to say. Healing begins when we stop seeing symptoms as enemies and start seeing them as messages. That's why affirmations became a central part of Louise's work. They are not magic words or empty statements. They are tools that reshape the subconscious, soften emotional resistance, and dissolve the inner narratives that harm the body. When you affirm, "I am safe," your nervous system loosens its grip. When you affirm, "I love and approve of myself," your cells respond to this new permission. When you affirm, "I release the past," the body stops bracing for old memories that no longer exist. The body blooms wherever the mind feels safe. Louise combined affirmations with emotional release, mirror work, forgiveness practices, and inner child healing. And slowly, the physical symptoms softened. The pain eased. The diagnosis changed. Her body followed her mind into a new rhythm, one grounded in love, not fear. Her story does not promise that every illness can be cured instantly or that medical care is unnecessary. Instead, it teaches that healing becomes deeper and more complete when the mind and body work together. Medicine can treat the physical, but only you can treat the emotional roots. Only you can release the tension your body has carried for years. Only you can decide to stop punishing yourself for things that are already over. And only you can choose thoughts that nourish instead of destroy you. Healing is not a race. It is a relationship between you and your body. And that relationship becomes healthier when you begin listening to what your body is whispering. Slow down, forgive, breathe, soften. Healing happens in safety, not pressure. It happens when you speak to yourself with gentleness, not criticism. It happens when you give your body the permission to let go of what it has held for too long. Your body has carried every heartbreak, every disappointment, every buried emotion, every moment of fear. And still, it has never stopped trying to keep you alive. Imagine how it would flourish if you loved it the way it has always loved you. Louise Hay's journey reminds us of something simple yet profound. The body is always on your side. Healing begins the moment you stop fighting yourself and start listening. The moment you decide that your emotional well-being matters. The moment you choose love, not as a reward, but as a foundation. Because when the mind believes it is safe, the body finally gets to rest. And in that rest, true healing begins. The journey through forgiveness, self-love, mental reprogramming, prosperity consciousness, and the body-mind connection ultimately reveals one profound truth. Healing is an inside job. Everything we carry within, old memories, hidden fears, unspoken resentment, unworthy beliefs, and even the silent tension we store in our bodies, shapes the outer experience we call life. When we hold pain inside, life mirrors it back to us in chaotic relationships, financial struggle, physical discomfort, or emotional numbness. And when we soften inwardly, when we choose love over fear, acceptance over judgment, presence over resistance, the world around us rearranges to match that inner shift. This is not magic. It is alignment. Forgiveness is the doorway because it frees us from the past that has already ended. Self-love is the foundation because nothing grows on soil poisoned by self-criticism. Mental discipline is the daily practice that keeps the garden of the mind clean and fertile. Prosperity consciousness opens us to receiving the abundance we once felt unworthy of. And understanding the body-mind connection teaches us to treat our physical selves with compassion instead of frustration. Each of these elements supports the others. Healing is not one action. It is a daily relationship with ourselves. Louise Hay's teachings remind us that the body reflects the mind. If we think thoughts of fear, the body contracts. If we think thoughts of peace, the body relaxes. If we believe we are unworthy, our life becomes a mirror of struggle. But when we choose thoughts rooted in love, safety, abundance, and possibility, the body softens and life responds with the same energy. We begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. We begin to experience relationships instead of patterns. We begin to sense the quiet wisdom inside us guiding us forward. The real lesson is simple. You are not broken. You have simply learned to carry too much for too long. And healing begins the moment you realize you have the power to choose a different thought, a different belief, a different direction. You do not have to wait for perfect conditions. You do not have to erase the past. You do not have to know every step ahead. All you need is willingness, a small inner yes that whispers, I deserve to feel better and I'm open to change. From that single shift, your entire inner world can begin to realign. To apply these insights, start small. Speak to yourself with kindness, especially when you feel insecure. Place your hand on your heart each morning and affirm, today I choose peace. When your body hurts, instead of judging it, ask it gently, what are you trying to tell me? When fear appears, breathe deeply and remind yourself, I am safe now. And when old patterns rise, do not shame yourself. Simply notice them and let them go. Healing is not about perfection. It is about returning to yourself again and again with softness. Now, I'd love to hear from you. In one sentence, what is one belief you are ready to let go of so you can live more freely? Please share it in the comments so others can learn from your reflection too. And if this message spoke to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support gives us the motivation to continue creating meaningful and transformative content for you.